This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. Over the years, you've heard me talk about the Neuralink, the dangers of Elon Musk now baiting what we would call conservatives or Republicans into this whole free speech platform known as X, and how they're using him to normalize this technology, which is really the enemy's technology. And they're making sure that there is dual marketing of a Neuralink-like technology that gets pushed out on the public. So we've heard about the first trial runs with Neuralink. And again, them telling us about the first trial runs versus how long have they been doing these trial runs. And of course, we know the experiment that they just ran on everybody. We know that they've been doing it for quite some time. But when they announce the trial runs, that means that they're announcing the marketing for this technology to desensitize people and get them prepared to eventually take this type of technology. So I talked about how there was going to be dual versions, just like, remember, it's always with this human science experiment that they've turned us into, especially here in America, or what they like to call the American experiment. Part of that illusion is the illusion of choice and freedom. I always use comparisons to some of the food products that we see in stores, right? People think that they're freely purchasing Cheerios versus brand X or brand Z or whatever the bottom shelf Cheerio is. Meanwhile, it's all the same. It's the same ingredients. It's the same chemicals. And really, we're just poisoning ourselves with a lot of the choices that we're making, thinking that one choice is healthier or safer than the other. But we're really putting it in the hands of these people who are producing this food and putting it on the shelves. Well, the same can be said with this type of technology. Okay? So we have the Neuralink, which is going to be marketed to conservatives via Elon Musk. And then we have articles like this. Forget Neuralink. The less invasive brain implant company is recruiting trial participants. No brain surgery required. And I've covered them before, Synchron, but now we're starting to see the gear up because Synchron just released a statement talking about how they, even though we've known for a couple years that they've been FDA approved, and of course, when people hear FDA approved, they go, oh, that means that it's safe and we can try it. They don't realize that, yeah, the FDA are the same people who are approving products going on our shelves in our stores, which people find weed killer and graphene oxide inside of. And that's not the only thing that they're finding graphene oxide inside of. So the FDA a few years ago approved it, and they have run trial experiments as well as Neuralink in America. But now they're recruiting people to willingly sign up and become willing participants in running a larger scale clinical test run of Synchron. And of course, the reason you've seen Elon Musk promoted with Neuralink as a conservative is because they're luring that audience, while the other, of course, brain implant startup company, which isn't a real startup, this one, Synchron, is backed by Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, which is just more proof that we are in the middle of a fight against global communism. And all of these big corporations, these faces of big corporations, are really the ones who are responsible for what's going on. Yes, Jeff Bezos. Yes, Bill Gates. Yes, Elon Musk. All of them. And they're pretending to play roles against each other as a herding mechanism. So this article is talking about the brain-computer interfaces and how they're emerging up against Neuralink. And of course, this is them trying to tell you, hey, don't worry about a brain implant, even though Elon Musk himself talked about how you didn't need a brain implant. That video that I have is available on the website. He's openly talked about how they can get this inside your body another way. Okay? So they don't need you to have your head cut open like we're in a scene here from Hannibal, where they're going to cut your head open and put one in, because people will go, I don't want to do that. But they're making people so desensitized, and they're normalizing people putting stuff inside their body, and you know what way I'm talking about, that this is how this newest one is going to be marketed to people. It's not going to be an implant. It's going to be something they can go and get. So let me play for you Synchron. If you're not familiar with Synchron, the supposed other alternative to Neuralink, which again, when you see these, alt-right media, the things and the people I criticize, they're all on board with this technology. And that's part of the big problem, because ultimately this is the technology they want to enslave you with. So while they keep you distracted about political issues, if men can have babies, all this stuff that the alt-right, Daily Wire, those types of people keep you distracted with, they promote technology like this. They promote Elon Musk. And both sides are going to be in full agreement with this type of technology. And they might say, well, we got to make sure it's safe and all. and just bait you in that way. But ultimately, they'll come out and tell you that it is safe, because ultimately, this is the ultimate plan, to have these types of interfaces in your body that they can control. And people think it's a crazy conspiracy theory, but listen to it out of their own mouths.
How do you get a computer to talk to your brain? Can you explain it in layman's terms?
Thank you. Brain-computer interfaces are a truly revolutionary technology that promise to transform lives of millions of people suffering from paralysis. So it creates a direct connection from the brain to control external digital devices that improve independence.
So hold on a second. I've got a computer, and you can link it to my brain, and you can tell my brain to make my left leg move or my right leg move. I mean, can you do that?
Well, your brain right now is telling your hand to move. Once we digitize that signal directly out of the brain, we can then turn that into a command signal.
Wow. This is a real, it seems to me that this really is a breakthrough. Are you a public company?
We're not. We did our Series B led by Khosla Ventures a couple of months back.
And are you thinking about going public at some point so people like me can get a piece of the action?
We've got a fair way to go, but we have just received the first green light from the FDA to commence clinical trials in the US for a permanent implant.
Okay, so what are you trying out in America?
So the implant comes into the brain through the blood vessels. The blood vessels are the natural highway into the brain. So 1 million heart catheterizations are performed each year in the US, and it's like that. It's a safe and accessible way for large-scale adoption of our technology, and we're going to begin to test that towards the end of the year.
Can you give us any kind of time frame as to how long it would be before we can actually get these brain implants that work with people who really need them?
Yeah, the FDA is leading globally on what the pathway looks like. We are moving along that pathway, we think, pretty fast. We think we can be into market in 3 to 5 years.
The dream of controlling computers with brainwaves, known as a brain-computer interface, or BCI for short, has been around for decades. So far, most of these technologies have primarily stayed within the domain of clinical trials and studies, especially when it comes to devices that are actually implanted inside the skull itself. Synchron aims to change that.
Synchron is bringing electronics into the brain in a minimally invasive way, and it's going to be useful for brain-computer interfaces, for brain monitoring, for brain mapping, and for brain stimulation.
Synchron says it's been able to get around the need for open brain surgery by building off of stents and catheters, pre-existing medical devices that enter the body via the blood vessels.
We enter into the jugular vein in the neck, make our way up into the brain, and then the stent opens up over that area of the brain called the motor cortex, and it communicates wirelessly with the outside world to control personal devices.
The resulting implant is called a stentrode, and the full system is called the Synchron switch. Oxley demonstrated the insertion for us on a model brain used for training by doctors before they go on to perform the procedure on human beings.
So I'm just going to open this, and then this is going to go up through the jugular vein, up into the brain. Now we deploy the device.
Tom said that the prevalence of cath labs, places where catheter-based procedures occur, creates a good jumping-off point for the stentrode to become a more widely accessible medical device.
Our philosophy for a BCI to be successful for a large number of people, to be scalable, is that it had to be simple. And one way to do that is to really simplify what you're looking for in the brain patterns. And in the part of the brain that we're in, there are aggregations of activity that represent attempted movement.
The antennas inside the stentrode pick up the signals inside the brain, and the Synchron switch transmits them wirelessly to perform the desired action.
The simplest elements of control are point and click.
Stare at it and think about moving for a long time, and it'll start zooming in. Yeah, and release. So you made a click, your first click with your brain.
You're going to see videos of our patients using iOS to send health reports, to do text messaging, in combination with other accessibility platforms like eye tracking. Getting back your ability to control a personal device can be hugely empowering.
Like a traditional stent, the stentrode is made to remain inside the body indefinitely.
The biggest risk of the procedure is that there can be a blood clot that forms inside the device when it's sitting inside the blood vessel. But what happens over about a 90-day period, cells grow over the device, and it incorporates into the wall of the blood vessel kind of like a tattoo. From that point on, the risk of blood clotting is much lower, but patients are still staying on aspirin after the device has been inserted.
A common concern when dealing with any sort of internet-connected device is privacy, let alone a device that can listen to and interpret your thoughts.
The privacy concerns are real. If there was to be a privacy leak, at worst, it would be able to predict as a corollary the way that you were, say, moving your mouse on a screen. And there's a history of other implanted devices like cardiac pacemakers and cochlear hearing devices that also have privacy concerns. So in this field, it's highly regulated, and we work with the FDA to meet very high standards.
The 10th patient to receive the Synchron Switch implant was the last required for Synchron's current round of clinical testing, and one more pivotal trial will be required before getting market approval from the FDA.
We were the first company to enroll and now complete enrollment for a human implantable clinical trial. So it's a very exciting time, and the patients that we've worked with have been an inspiration.
With a less invasive route inside the brain, Synchron's technology could open up a lot of other possibilities for treatment, monitoring, and beyond.
When people have seizures, they have to go to their doctor, and the doctor says, "How many seizures have you had?" And you can't actually remember when a seizure happened. So there is an absence of technology that monitors long-term brain activity. And then another big area is deep brain stimulation. And the first example is Parkinson's disease. So you see these videos of people having a brain implant, they switch on the device and the tremor stops. That typically requires open brain surgery. And so there is a need to look for less invasive examples of how we can control those sorts of conditions. And we think that the blood vessels are again an avenue that are going to provide treatment options where typically have required open brain surgery.
Oxley says the Synchron Switch will cost between $50,000 to $100,000. And he hinted that the company is working on integrating AI into its technology.
We're really excited about the interaction between our Switch system and OpenAI or ChatGPT type integration.
So again, that's Synchron, and Synchron's claiming that it aims to restore the control of a touchscreen for patients with limited hand mobility using only their thoughts. Again, this is another form of witchcraft, which they call telepathy. Okay, look into the origins of telepathy and witchcraft. Okay, this is what they're normalizing. People don't even connect the dots between the two. They're like, whoa, wow, right? Because even Christians and conservatives out there believe that witchcraft is some type of fairy tale. Do you know how many people I preach to about this stuff? You know, I hear Christians, I hear them ministering, I hear them reading gospel, and that's all wonderful and great. And when I confront them about the evils in this world, the wickedness, the witchcraft, they're going to get theirs. They're going to get theirs. And I say, it's not about them getting theirs. It's about Christians being aware of what they're going to get duped into. You can't be a naive fool, right? If our bodies are our temples, and we know that they're trying to destroy what God created, for Christians out there to get so inundated with technology and then not realize the dangers of technology with the mark of the beast, it's insanity to me. And they hear this stuff and they go, yeah, telepathy, right? These are the same Christians that we see doing what? We see Christians now reading tarot cards. We see Christians going to mediums. We see Christians even doing this in some churches, and they go, well, this isn't necessarily a medium. We're not praying to, and it's like, this is just getting normalized. I've talked about this with New Age Christianity and spell casting and crystals and altars. A lot of these Christians are bringing altars in their home. So it's so important to be aware of what the enemy is always doing, right? The Bible tells us this. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Okay? And when people hear that, they're like, well, be sober. Okay, I don't drink. Be sober. Think clearly. Do not put your guard down. Do not be naive. Do not become of this world, or these people are going to walk on your throat. And the next thing you know, these people that you trusted in, whether it's the Daily Wire, it's the alt-right media, or any of these politicians, they're going to lure you into taking the mark of the beast. People out there, everyone has a theory about what it is. But let me be clear about what they're telling you with this technology. If you're somebody who's younger or you don't understand this stuff because to you it's boring, or it's, it's technology, brain, computer interface. When an outside source has the ability to control your mind and control you, the same way you see these people with thoughts, right? In these videos, oh, he's thinking about doing this, and it's telling the computer that, and then it's happening. It's going to work the other way. The computers, once the tech is inside of you, the computer's going to have the ability to control your thoughts and control your movements. It's not going to be you in control of the computer. It's going to work the other way. Thus, when we think about God telling us about our bodies being our temples and being sober and vigilant, because our adversary, the devil, walketh around like a roaring lion. They are looking to gain control over all of us. And this type of technology is exactly how they're going to do it. And again, I've warned people about what mind control does and how time desensitizing people and marketing ends up normalizing things of the beast, right? Think about phones. I mean, it was unbelievable. I always tell people, and I know some of you are older, okay? I'm not that old, but I'm pretty old. And when cell phones first came out, most people were like, I don't want a cell phone. Why would I want a cell phone? Why would I want someone bothering me when I'm out? Right? Teenagers, why would I want my mom and dad checking in on me if I'm not home by curfew? That was the mindset. Now the mindset, 20, 25 years later, is what? If somebody leaves their home to go to a store, even the grocery, they will turn around in the parking lot once they notice they don't have a phone. And you might say, that's crazy. It's true. The guy can't on my phone. I got to get out of here. Somebody might call me. You might go, well, who cares? Somebody calls you. Call them back when you get home. Oh, no. Because they become so dependent on it. Oh, I might need my phone to look up a recipe. I might need my phone to do this. I might need my phone to do that. Exactly. They've made you dependent on it. So when we look at this technology, okay, and we look at the fact that they're telling us, hey, it doesn't need to be implanted in you, then your brain should go, well, if they're not going to cut my brain open and put it in, how are they going to put it in? Well, think about it. They're going to shoot it into you, okay? That's very clear. But the other thing you should be thinking about is how over time, because the first time anyone hears this, they go, I'll never get that. Yeah, that's what everybody says. I remember when Facebook first came out, every person I knew was like, well, that is the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life. They're like, I'd rather be dead than be caught on there, right? 20 years later, 25 years later, however long it's been, 20, I guess. I know the majority of people that I used to be friends with are all on there. And not only are they on there, they're on there behaving like a manufactured human. They're posting pictures of themselves. They're posting pictures of their food. They're posting pictures of their kids. People who I once would have thought they would never exploit or exploit, they don't think it's exploiting them or exposing them now because they become desensitized. They've seen everybody else do it. And once they've seen everybody else do it, then their behavior adapts to that. That's what's going on around us right now. That's what is happening with behavior around us. I talk about behavioral control, BlackRock talking about this is what they've done. They've normalized these things and these types of behaviors. A lot of them are narcissistic tendencies, right? Well, think about this technology. You hear it today and you go, yeah, right. I don't want that thing in me, right? Or your wife or your friend, until your friend has some type of brain problem or Parkinson's, and they're like, well, I mean, it's that or death. I mean, they want to live out a normal, oh, okay. Then you see the benefits. You go, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. And then as everybody gets sicker and sicker around us because of, those big towers in our town or all of that crap getting dumped on us from the sky or being put in our food, right? People go, you know what? We need this technology. Oh, and wait, what? You can live forever with this technology? Oh, you have to have this technology to buy or sell. Do you see where it's headed? So the first time these stories come out, everybody tells the same thing to me. They say the same crap. They go, never. I'll never do that. I'll never do it. And I say, just wait. Just wait because you're going to get desensitized. You're going to see story after story after story because then they spend 10, 15 years telling you stories about how this has saved someone's life, right? Then you get older. You might have some type of defect, right? Or it continues on where they say, wow, you're not thinking clear or you're dealing with depression. It goes from, oh, this person has Parkinson's to, oh, someone with depression, it has cured their mental health. And then everybody's got some form of depression because of the radiation exposure. And then you go, all right, maybe I'll get it. I'm sick and tired of being tired. I'm sick and tired of being depressed. And then you get lured into it, all because you get desensitized over a 20, 30-year period, even less now. Really, with the way technology is now, it only takes a few years. Look where we're at as far as the things we're accepting in our society. We have parents castrating their kids. And a lot of parents, parents from an outside home who don't have kids that they've castrated but identify as a Democrat, they sit there and they go, yeah, but it's a big deal. It's their kid. Let them do what they want. Whereas 20 years ago, they would have been like, no, that's abuse. Well, how do you think they got to that point? They got desensitized. That's the key to all of this stuff. Repetition and desensitizing people, normalizing it, seeing story after story, all manufactured stories of the benefits of this. Somebody who's 80 years old now feeling 20. Oh, did you know you could live 30 years longer with this tech? Oh, and everybody getting on board with it, then suddenly realizing once they have this technology in them, that there'll be a day in time where they seek death and won't be able to find it because they've mixed up their genetic code and they're no longer a gift from God. They're now a gift of Satan, which is really just an imprisoned soul here on earth. That's what's going on, folks. This technology is so frightening to me. But what's more frightening about it is that I know the majority of people, when I tell them this, they just roll their eyes because they go, I'm never getting that crap. Right? And they're the same people who weren't going to be on Facebook, same people who weren't going to have cell phones, same people who now can't leave their homes without either, or telling their story, talking into the internet, into the hive mind, uploading their thoughts, not realizing what the internet of bodies is. It's incredible. It's truly incredible. I had to cover it because of this story that was out there from ZDNet about how they're already marketing the other side of this, right? Neuralink, you think about it, how many, just like when the potion came out, right? It initially came out, Dems were like, I will never take that because I think, we can't trust anything Donald Trump does, right? Then they switched people in office by design, okay? And then everybody who originally refused made sure that they were ready for it. The other people were borderline suspicious, still went and got it because they were getting mind controlled. They knew it from Fox News, etc. And away we went, right? Same thing with this. People will be like, I will never get that kind of thing. Oh, wait a minute. Musk is marketing Neuralink? I like Musk. He's a champion of free speech. He's the only platform I'm allowed to speak freely on. I trust him. How could anything go wrong? I trust him. Oh, but I'll never get the Gates one. The other side. Oh, yeah. I'll never get the Elon Musk one. I don't trust him. He's hateful. Oh, but I like Bill Gates. I'll get his. Right? Look at the global corporation as it's happening right now. Bezos, Gates, Musk, billionaires who have this type of control and influence over all of us. And all it would take is them being stopped. But unfortunately, everybody thinks it's a crazy conspiracy to think that these rich, wealthy people who really, if you've seen the video I did on Amazon, which is available on the website, you'd start thinking to yourself, you go, oh man, yeah, right. Every single thing that's getting pushed by Amazon actually makes me a prisoner in my own home without realizing I'm a willing participant, right? Drones are delivering medicine to my front door now. I don't have to leave the store to even run if I needed cold medicine. If I have a cold in the middle of the day, I don't have to get up and run to CVS. I don't feel good. It'll deliver it in an hour, right? Oh, all the stuff in my home that's helping me turn my lights on and off. It could hear my commands, so clearly it can listen to me, and on and on and on, folks. So forget Neuralink. The less invasive brain implant company is recruiting trial participants. Are you dumb enough to be one of them? Well, if you're listening to this channel, I know you're not, but plenty of other people out there will be, unfortunately. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.